2, work on complements to 1. That means you are making number 1 using 2 numbers. So first of all is your flashback 4. So these are things that you have previously learned. So pause the video here, have a go at the 4 questions, and then press play when you are ready. Okay, so that answers the flashback 4. Okay, so for 0.35, 0.5 added together, it makes 0.85. Percentage change is 44%. Right, 18,000 of decimal, it's 0.018. And the last symmetry in a rectangle is 2. Okay, so on to today's learning then. So, we are going to look at how to make a whole, okay, using our decimals. Now, currently, on here we have got 100 square. And on our 100 square, we have got 20 hundredths coloured in. Remember, each individual square equals 1/100th. So we have got 20 hundredths. Now, previously we looked at how 20 hundredths also equals 2/10. So if I call the whole thing in, that's 1/10, and now that is 2/10. So 20 hundredths also equals 2/10, which also equals 0.2. So we need to think about now how we get to 1 from 0.2. So using 100 square, you can see that if you've got 2 columns coloured in, left we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns left. So 8 columns means that we have got 8/10 left. So 8 out of 10. And as a decimal, you know that that equals 0.8. So in here, 0.8 makes 1. So 0.2 add 0.8 equals 1. Okay, so this time we've got 100 square, but we have got 43 hundredths coloured in this time. Now 43 hundredths of the decimal is 0.43. We want to know how many are left to make 1. So let's think about our tenths first of all. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths, which makes 50 hundredths. That's 50 altogether here. Then we've got 51, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've actually got 57 out of 100, which is 57 hundredths, which is a decimal. That equals 0.53. So to make 1, we need to put in here 0.53. Okay, so I want to have a go now at doing these first 3 questions. Can you figure out how many tenths or hundredths we need to add to these to make 1 whole? Now on your third one, you have got 2 numbers. So the first step is to add 0.6 and 0.26 together first of all to find out how many you have got. Pause the video here, have a go, and then come back and we will do the answers together. Okay, so hopefully we've had a go now at those questions. So let's get our first one. We've got 0.3. So if I want to get to 1 whole from 0.3, I know that I've got to count upwards to 1. So 0.3 goes 0.4, which is 1, 0.5, which is 2, 0.6, which is 3, 0.7, which is 4, 0.8, which is 5, 0.9, which is 6, and 1 whole, which is 7. So we've counted on 7 more tenths to get to 1. So that is simply 0.7. And if you know number bonds to 10, then you should know that straight away that 7 add 3 makes 1 whole. Okay, so our next one, we've got 0.92 and we need to get to 100. So 0.92 to 100. So I'm going to go from there and I want to get to 100. I know is 8. But that's 8 hundredths, which means the answer should be 0.08. Okay, and then the third one, the first thing I would have done is I would have used my column addition. So I would have done 0.6 and then I would have added to that 0.26. And I put a 0 there to help me with my place value. Okay, so 0 add 0 is 0, decimal point in. 6 add 2 is 8, and 0 add 6 is 6. So I've got 0.86, but I now need to get from there to 100. So I'm going to count on how many from 86 to 100. Well, that should be 14, which means I have 14 hundredths, which equals the decimal 0.14. So I hope you got those ones right, okay? If you want to, before you move on, have a go at the first questions on your sheet, but you could also listen to the next steps if you want to for the harder questions. So moving now on to our silver and gold questions. So this time we're going to use our knowledge of our timesing by 10 and 100 and 1,000 and dividing by them as well to help us. So if you know 61 add 39 equals 100. If we divide that by 10, that equals 6.1 add 3.9, which equals 10. If we divide that by 10, that equals 0.61 add 0.39 equals 1, and divide that by 10, which makes 0.061 add 0.039 equals 0.1. Each time you are getting 10 times smaller, which means it's moving one place value to the right, which is 10 times smaller. Okay, so we're going to have a go at this one together. I'm going to make it bigger so we can see it. So we have got 18 plus 82 equals 100. We're going to use that number to help us answer this. So 8.2 add something equals 10. Well, if 8.2 is 10 times smaller than 82, then we need to make 18 10 times smaller, which equals 1.8. So 1.8 is 10 times smaller than 18. 8.2 is 10 times smaller than 82. And 10 is 10 times smaller than 100. Okay, so this time now, we've got 8.2, turned into 0.082. So this time it's been made not just 10 times smaller, but from there to there, it's been divided by 100. It's moved 2 places, which means it's been made 100 times smaller. So I need to move 1.8 also 2 times. So the 1 would go into the 10th, but then into the hundredths column. So I know I've got to start with 0.01, then it'd be the 8 afterwards. So 0.081 add 0.082 actually equals 0.1. So then, how can we now use that to help us find one whole? Well, we've got 0.18. I'm going to add to that 0.82 because we've got 18 hundredths add 82 hundredths equals 1 whole. Okay, so today you're going to carry on the complements to 1. Now there's no platinum separate today because the questions are quite tricky. So silver is questions 1 and 2, gold is questions 3 to 6, and platinum is questions 7 and 8. If you get stuck, please remember to email Miss Williams or I, and we will try and help you.